Well, Scott, welcome to Port Vale. How happy are you to have signed for the club?
Yeah, delighted. Obviously, it's a massive club in this league, and the fans are fantastic. And I don't think I realised quite. I knew it was a big club before I signed, but once I signed and I got all the messages, you realise just how big a club it is, and really deserve to be playing League One football at least. And like I say, there's a really good squad of players here, and I'm really looking forward to getting going in pre-season.
Now, Neil Aspin, the gaffer, made it clear he wanted an experienced goalkeeper, an established number one, and it's safe to say you fit that bill.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm not taking anything for granted though. I've got to come in on day one of pre-season and prove myself all up. You're starting from scratch basically. You've got to prove yourself to the gaffer, goalie coach, the players and then the fans, and you've got to earn the right to be in the team and keep that shirt every week. So I'm under no illusions or anything like that. You take your place for granted. It's the same as I've been all throughout my career, and hopefully you do well on the previous Saturday and do enough to keep your place in the team for the following Saturday, and that's the way I've always seen it. You take it game by game and look forward to the next one if you do well. If not, you get back down to the training ground on Monday morning and work as hard as ever and try and improve and get ready for the next game.
Now, the manager, Neil Aspin, you've obviously met him, and he's said quite a few times he's not the greatest of salesmen, but what did he have to say to you to encourage you to join?
Yeah, no. When he phoned me up, I was obviously really pleased to hear from him, knowing about the history of the club and everything like that. And he just said that we've not been good enough this season, and we need to be better. And he's going to make sure that we are better next season. So he signed some great players already, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what else comes in and getting back to pre-season on the 28th with the rest of the lads.
Now, your former boss and former Port Vale player, Gareth Ainsworth, he must have had a word with you when he found out that Port Vale were interested in you. How much of an influence did he have on you signing for the club?
Yeah, when I spoke to the gaffer and said that I wanted to move back closer to home, sorry, the gaffer at Wickham, I wanted to move back closer to home, and well, I couldn't really. I was getting up at 5 o'clock, travelling in to miss the traffic and getting an hour in the car by the training ground, so it wasn't really sustainable, and it was going to take years off my career, and that's why I was so pleased when the gaffer here phoned. But I told him about the few clubs that were interested and the ones that were closer to home, and he just said no, Port Vale's your one. It's a great club, it's a fantastic ground, and there's great people around the place and the area, and he that really, well, I had my mind set on here, but once the gaffer said that, then that made it. But he loves coming back here, and he always speaks really well of this place. So and he said I'll keep in touch with him anyway, because he's a great manager and a really good person.
He sounds like a great man as well. I encourage you to come here at Port Vale. Your experience last season, you won promotion with Wickham. You've got the defence here in front of you. You've got the likes of James Gibbons, who's, I think he's 19 or 20, and you've got Nathan Smith, 21 years old. You've got a relatively young defence in front of you, but how much of your experience can you help them with?
Yeah, obviously they're two fantastic young players, and like the team, there's a lot of good players in the squad already, not just at the back but all over the squad. So hopefully I can help at all. And I'm fortunate enough, I've been promoted out of this league twice, I think, and lost in the playoff final, lost in the playoff semi-final. So, but like I say, I'm not taking anything for granted, and you just come in and try and use your experience if possible. And if people want to bounce things off you, then great. But if not, you got to know when to slow the game down, when to speed the game up, and things like that. And hopefully we can do that and have a successful season.
Now, you played against us twice last season. The more memorable game was the 0-0 fixture away from home. What did that message send to you about the defence that you were going to be joining? We needed a point, we got the 0-0 result, and the defence really fought until the last minute. What message does that send to you about the team's spirit and morale?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I remember thinking that day what a really organised, resilient side it was, and difficult to break down. I think we created too many chances at that day, and the way we can play, they ask questions of you, they put balls into the box, and everyone, like to a man, stood up, and you had a few chances on the counter attack as well. So like I say, it was probably a better point for Port Vale at the time than it was for Wickham, but like I say, it was a good point for us, because you could have nicked it on the counter attack a couple of times, but like I say, put bodies on the line, and it was a really resilient, well organised performance from Port Vale.
Now, it's safe to say the fans were pretty happy when we announced that you were signing for the club. What can they expect from you? Are you more of a vocal goalkeeper? Perhaps your best asset is shot stopping? What would you say your best skill is in goal?
I don't know. Like I say, I was really grateful for all the welcome messages, but I know I've got to prove myself to them, and from day one, first game, first training session, you've got to prove yourself all over again to them. It's like starting first day at school again. So hopefully they'll like what they see. But it's not about doing well for one game or 2 games. It's about being consistent over 46 league games and cup games. And sometimes you'll have good times and bad times, but it's about being 6 or 7 every week, and then occasionally 8s or 9s and things like that. So that's what League Two is all about. It's not about being brilliant one week and rubbish for 3 or 4. It's about being consistent right the way through the season, and hopefully that's what I can be.